Hi, everybody. Welcome to the review from Izzy Sam Mac Escape on YouTube. It is 7:52 p.m. Throughout the weekend, Kevin Sorbo, along with Fathom Events, had a theatrical release window of 3 days where, as Kevin Sorbo being the director of this specific film, they featured Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist. Anyone who's familiar with the Left Behind series is based off a series of popular books that detail a hypothetical scenario of how the world would essentially be also inspired by the biblical portions of Revelations from the Bible, how the world would essentially react or what it would look like if the end times were to happen in this period that we're living in right now. It's a direct sequel to the 2014 Left Behind film that starred Nicolas Cage. Same characters in this one, however, you have different actors playing it. Kevin Sorbo, anyone who is familiar with him, he was very gained fame from Hercules: The Legendary Journeys. He was also on Xena, Warrior Princess, and Andromeda. So he's had a pretty unique and interesting career, also as well as being an outspoken Christian. So he decided to bring this story to life in a very interesting way. Now, admittedly, I haven't read the Left Behind books, so that's something that I do want to get involved in. Uh, but when it comes to Christian-based centered films, I have to I have to be completely honest with you. Usually, a lot of these religious films typically get bogged down in the details, and there's very few that I've actually sat down and enjoyed or watched in its entirety. For example, both Omega Code films I thought were phenomenal. Passion of the Christ I thought was absolutely amazing as well. Growing up, I used to watch McGee and Me, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who are familiar with that kids show. And also Salty, the cute little music box that has got his name from the biblical verse, well, the biblical scriptures of Psalms. So they decided to call it Salty. That I used to watch that a lot as well. Needless to say, there is some familiarity on my part, being as I was raised in a Christian home as well. So I do have some um, solidified knowledge when it comes to understanding portions of the Bible. When it comes to Revelations or the Apocalypse, obviously that is such a fitting theme when it comes to adapting it, whether it's in a film, television series, video games, literature, music. The genre, the concept in and of itself is, I don't want to say fascinating, but it's morbid in a sense because people have this idea of how what would the world look like during the end times? What would the world look like during this horrific form of tyranny and desolate desolate atmosphere with this leader coming out of essentially nowhere and reigning supreme over the entire world? Left Behind: Rise of the Antichrist was a very interesting film, and I was very curious to see exactly how they were going to bring this story to life. Because, as I mentioned before, certain Christian oriented forms of cinema typically get bogged down in the details and they don't. It comes off as more preachy and beating an audience over the head rather than simply creating a story that is going to cater to both sides of the spectrum. Uh, I found this film to be uniquely thrilling and interesting. The performances of Kevin Sorbo, Corbin Burnson, Neil McDonough, and the highlight for me personally was Chase Bailey, who plays Nikolai Carpathia, the Antichrist. This film, one thing that Kevin Sorbo did do that was very appreciative, he brought to life a story that is able to entertain and inspire both sides. So, for example, you have an audience who is very solidified in their Christian beliefs and they are very into it. They become emotional. They're impacted by the story and the inspiration of messages of hope and unity. Then you maybe have this one side who they are, um, they believe they have their own belief system, but they are not interested as far as being preachy or beating someone over the head with it. So they are there for mainly entertainment purposes, because for all we know, maybe the concept of the apocalypse in the entertaining spectrum is what they are able to fully enjoy as just a part of the general audience. So Kevin Sorbo brought this opus, if you will, that is entertaining for both sides. So if you're a strong, committed Christian, you're going to love it. If you're not, or if you have a different belief system as far as your religion is concerned, you'll enjoy it as well. I thought this film was absolutely phenomenal. It did everything that I was looking for as far as just looking at it from the perspective of a general audience member who has his own beliefs as well. It is very thrilling from beginning to end, and the dialogue is absolutely meticulously and intelligently written. The performances are very raw, emotional, inspiring, and quite authentic as well. The highlight in my opinion, was Chase Bailey, the Antichrist, who portrays Nikolai Carpathia as the Antichrist. Absolutely chilling. What a lot of actors typically tend to do, especially when they're portraying a character of this magnitude, they either go all the way with being completely sinister, or they go all the way as far as being hammy and chewing up scenery. This is not the case with this specific performance. He has the perfect amount of a sinister agenda and atmosphere where there is this simmering, boiling rage that is just aching to get out, and when it's released, it's downright horrifying. And he played that part so immensely well. I found it quite remarkable as well. Another interesting concept behind the film is the frightening parallels that have existed within the confines of this story, as well as what happened in our current situation, given the latter parts of the 2 to 3 years that where everyone's familiar with what has been going on, usage of social media, the internet, and how the media has been able to uh, find ways to essentially use information for its own purposes, as well as doing as well as finding a way to keep the audience in the dark, if you will. Other than that, I found the interesting dichotomy between the two perspectives to be fascinating. I loved this film. It's everything that I would want when it comes to a Christian-based film. Hopefully, Fathom Events and Kevin Sorbo finds a way to extend its theatrical release, because this is something that I do believe everybody needs to watch. It's highly recommended. Very intense, suspenseful. There's suspense, thrilling, a thrilling atmosphere, creepy suspense, a horror, comedy, and some cathartic humor as well. Very emotional performances. I can't recommend it enough. So hopefully, I don't know if it's going to be available soon on physical media or Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime or what have you. If you are able to find a way to watch this film, please do, because I do recommend it. So with Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist, I'm going to have to go ahead and give it a two thumbs up. A two thumbs up, 10 out of 10. Highly recommend it. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about it. If you are familiar with the Left Behind series, if not, just let me know in the comment section what you thought about this review, as well as my Facebook. The Discord link is still included on the channel. And that is my review. The next review is going to be A Knock at the Cabin, directed by M. Night Shyamalan, which I intend to watch this weekend. Needless to say, I hope you guys remain safe and healthy, and you'll be seeing me again. Take care, and peace out.